I have created the best, the safest die strategy of all time. Now, of course, the safest die strategy, there is still an element of luck. None of the strategies on my channel are guaranteed ways to win, but I've been crunching the numbers on this one. I've been watching quite a lot of original game strategies from a lot of great content creators. You guys that are familiar with the channel will know that we mainly play table games, but anything with a 1% house edge that you can implement smart strategies on, I'm all for it. So I've called this one the casino matchmaker money glitch, and I'll tell you exactly what it looks like. Now I'll talk you through the numbers, the probabilities. There's only 4 conditions, okay? Let me open them up, and I'll zoom in so you can copy it for yourself if you want to give this a go. Condition 1, every one loss, we're going to increase our bet amount percentage by 190%. Every one win, we're going to decrease the win chance percentage by 4%. Every one win, we're going to reset the play amount. And every one loss, we're going to set the win chance to 66%. This is the big one that I've been playing around with. And people that are familiar with the channel will know 66% is the 2 of the 3 dozens that I like to play the roulette, on the roulette wheel. So the starting bet is going to be 30 cent. Now, I've not just plucked that number out of anywhere. I will talk you through the probabilities and why I picked that number in a moment. We have $1,000 in the bankroll. I'm going to do something a little bit differently here, just to sort of prove that I've not just made this out of thin air. We're going to do 1,000 bets, okay? Because I believe this is a pretty solid, safe strategy. So we're going to run it for 1,000 bets. And I think that this is going to make about $90, okay? Let's just make sure turbo mode is on. 30 cents, 1,000 bets. Let's get going. What you'll notice with this, and why I think it's a really interesting strategy, is it takes advantage of winning streaks. So you notice the condition there that was talking about decreasing the win chance percentage on every loss. So we start with a 66% probability of winning. And then as we win, it goes down a little bit and it goes down a little bit more. So when you do hit a nice winning streak, your multiplier, can I zoom in here? So watch this multiplier. It goes up, it starts at 1.5, and as we hit a winning streak, it goes up, look, 1.76. Then we hit a loser and it resets. So we're always going for that that 1.5x multiplier, which is a 66% probability of winning. um, until, and then when we win, our multiplier gets higher and higher and higher. We lose, we reset. So you guys know me. I class this as a hybrid strategy because we are increasing on a loser, but we're also taking advantage of any winning streaks that we go on. So I mentioned that my 30 cent starting bet isn't plucked out of thin air. That 30 cent starting bet, as we increase by 190% on every loser, that gives us 8 progressions. Now, with 8 progressions at a 66% probability of winning, the probability of us losing 8 in a row, got it written down just so I didn't have to memorize it. The probability of losing 8 in a row when we've got a 66% probability of winning is 0.017%. So it can happen. Of course, it can happen. And if you were to play this all day long, I'm sure you will run into that trouble. But the probabilities are pretty small, as I just explained. You can see from this graph, this is going a little bit laggy, which is annoying. I'm going to speed it up in a minute because obviously we're doing 1,000 bets. But if I just zoom into the graph, a pretty steady trend up. I mean, we got into a little bit of trouble there. We were $5.93 down. That's the most amount of money that we've been down. We're halfway through these bets. Well, we're more than halfway through, and we're at about $50. I said, because I've been running this, been trying to make it as good as I can. I was like, well, I can change that. I can change this. What if I was to do this? What if I was to start this starting bet? What if I was to decrease the probability, the win chance by 3.5% every time we win? And I think that this has the right amount of risk to reward. And running it and running it and running it with 1,000 bet, I think that this is going to bring home about $90 unless we go bust, which, like I said at the start, we might get super lucky and we might go bust, but we would have to run into some serious bad luck for that to happen. I was going to speed this up. In fact, I will speed this up because we've got 275 more spins. I'll come back when we're towards the end and we'll see how this graph looks and if we're close to our $90. Okay, coming towards the end, it's worth mentioning that if you do hit a big losing streak, you do go backwards a little bit with your profit. So let's say you're at $90 and you go on a losing streak, you don't fully recover. You'll come back to around 88 or something along those lines. But look at those stats, guys. We played that for a thousand rolls, and we finished on $94. I said about $90. I think, and please let me know. Feel free to go try it out yourself. Please share this with the guys that do original strategies. They try out a lot of great strategies. I've been taking tips from their strategies and tried to compile my own version, but I think simple is better. Let me know what you think of that. Share it with those guys, share it with your friends, and let me know if we're on to a money glitch. I'll see you in the next video.